And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
I learned a lot by watching Richard Nixon. Of course, there was one difference, one big difference. Number one, he may have been guilty, and number two, he had tapes all over the place. I wasn't guilty, I did nothing wrong, and there are no tapes.
So Trump doesn't know what a burner phone is, nor does he know what happened to 457 minutes of missing call logs from January 6th. They've just disappeared. I'm Yasmin Khan, and I've had Rent's Seasons of Love stuck in my head for the whole time that I've been working on this story, so I just hope you all appreciate me. So January 6th, we all know what happened that day. There was an insurrection at the Capitol when a horde of Trump supporters stormed it in an effort to stop the steal or whatever it was that they thought they were doing. A lot's happened since January 6th, 2021. There's been an investigation and things keep coming out. So, for one, Peter Navarro, who went on several media programs detailing his involvement in what he called the Green Bay sweep, has been held in contempt of Congress after failing to comply with the investigation. The committee actually played clips of his appearance on MSNBC's The Beat, where he not only confessed to being involved in the attempted coup, but he also named names.
I have so much knowledge to share with you about what I was involved in and what I know.
Given that you've told me that you have a plan that you push to delay or deal with the certification. You told me 100 members back it, and you said in public Trump was on board. If you say all those things out here, why risk a legal battle or going to jail to refuse to discuss them with the committee under oath?
Because I have a loyalty to the Constitution and a loyalty to the president. The president has invoked executive privilege in this matter. It's not my authority to revoke that privilege.
You say it's not your privilege to waive, but let's look
That's the law. No,
how often you've
law.
waived it. Let's look at some of the news you've made on these topics. Take a look.
Former Trump advisor Peter Navarro is spilling the beans.
We had over 100 congressmen and senators on Capitol Hill ready to implement the sweep.
Peter Navarro.
Right? The boss tells Pence to take my friggin' call.
Navarro tells Rolling Stone
It was about sending the votes back. Most or all of those states would decertify the election.
How do you expect people to take seriously your claim that this is secret and privileged when you've been out there talking about it? And when you and Bannon said the committee's dog wouldn't bark, they were afraid of you and the report, it seems now, Peter, like the dog has barked.
Navarro was actually supposed to make another appearance on The Beat after failing to appear in front of Congress, but he canceled it, which is probably for the best. Now, this is actually kind of funny. Navarro claimed executive privilege as his reasons for not testifying under oath to the same things that he was offering freely on news programs to journalists, but he was never the executive, so he doesn't get that privilege. Congresswoman Murphy said of Navarro's invocation that it, quote, lacks merit as a matter of law and as a matter of common sense. Now it's being reported that there is an incredible 457 minutes of missing call logs from that day. That's over 7.5 hours of presidential communication that we have no record of. Now, back in the 70s during the Watergate scandal, one of the things that helped blow the whole thing over was that there was 18 minutes missing from phone records. Initially, Nixon's secretary was like, oh, I might have accidentally deleted like 5 of those minutes, but not all 18. It was all very questionable, and it was a very, very, very big deal. Now, 18 is obviously a lot less than 457 on the day of an insurrection, no less. Now, about a month ago, it came out that there were some records that were supposed to remain with the White House, or at least in the National Archives, and they were found at Mar-a-Lago. Trump was just hoarding them, stashed them away, hid them so nobody could find them. So we know that there were gaps in what was handed over to the Select Committee. So this whole time, they've been trying to piece it all together, fill in those gaps, but 7.5 hours is a hell of a gap. We also know that calls were, in fact, made within that window of time, so the obvious questions that arise are, who was Trump talking to during the insurrection? How was he talking to them? What was said? And why don't we have the records? So some speculated that Trump was probably making phone calls from somebody else's phone, or that he was doing it from his own private cell phone, which was something that for some reason he was allowed to do throughout his entire presidency. Or maybe he was using a burner phone. But Trump has since tried to quell that accusation by saying he doesn't even know what a burner phone is. But his own former national security advisor, John Bolton, has since come out saying, yeah, he knows what a burner phone is. He and I have discussed it several times, which in and of itself is a kind of an interesting admission. But is this just another case of Trump getting away with something insane that literally anyone else would suffer immense consequences for? We'll have to see what the committee does with the information they have or don't have. But as far as Trump's presidency and the scandals being compared to Nixon's and Watergate, there are some significant differences between the way the US government functioned in the 70s versus what it does today. Yes, there was widespread corruption back then, we know that, but once it was exposed, it was generally dealt with in some capacity. Today, we don't even see that. Instead, we see guilty parties doubling down on things they're accused of, even going so far as detailing their knowledge of the situation on MSNBC. We see spin from those close to the situation, even those without direct involvement in it, just in the name of solidarity and loyalty and patriotism. And we see the effects of a Congress that's become so polarized that it's practically ineffectual. In the 70s, Congress was decidedly less partisan, at least when confronted by actual crimes committed by their chief executive. In the 70s, Nixon resigned from the presidency before he could actually get impeached or removed from office. I can't even imagine Trump even considering doing something like that. I can't. There was a time, I don't remember exactly what it was, but Trump wanted to do something and then he didn't do it because he was worried about the public backlash. I remember wondering why he even cared about the backlash at all at that point, because it was already clear that he considered himself not only above the law, but also above public opinion. His followers had already become so cult-like at that point that it didn't matter what he did or didn't do, and those agencies that were supposed to hold him accountable had already stopped doing so. One thing that's not fun to remember, though, is that we still don't know what happened to those 18 minutes of missing Nixon tape. Will we ever know what went on in those 7.5 hours on January 6th?